Hey there everyone. So for this video I wanted to talk about fraudulent 1099 reporting. What do you need to do if you received a 1099 and you just have no idea where the income is coming from? So I have in front of us an alert that the FBI posted. It's an older alert from a few months ago, so early March. You can see March 8th it's stated there. But this is frankly an issue that's happening year after year, and this is something that is plaguing taxpayers more and more frequently. So, what's going on here? Fraudulent 1099 reporting. There's a couple of ways that you might receive a 1099 that wasn't assigned to you, right? So, the first one, the innocent one, let's call it, is you had an account open with a bank or some type of payment processor, and maybe you close it and then they just issued you another one erroneously, right? So that you got a 1099 because you had a prior account with this custodian and they issue a 1099 by mistake, honest mistake, get it corrected, no big deal. The more nefarious hypothetical is that an account was opened in your name without your knowledge, right? So the IRS and the FBI are reporting that they are receiving complaints regarding fraudulent 1099Ks and 1099 miscellaneous, right? So 1099K is probably the most common one we're seeing now. This would happen, for example, if somebody stole your identity and used your name and information to open a PayPal account, or they used to open a Stripe account or an Amazon FBA account, right? Because remember, the gross proceeds that are being paid on that account are going to be issued at 1099K, and it's going to be in your name and your social security number. And potentially your EIN too, right? You can open merchant accounts using a company name and EIN as well. So, what's happening here is, frankly, at its core, your identity has been stolen, right? So somebody has stolen your identity. They have your name, your tax ID number, and your address, and they are using your information to open accounts to process funds, and obviously they're taking the money. They're not being nice enough here to open an account on your behalf, generate some income there, and then deposit it into your bank account, right? They are taking that money and they are using your personal information on a fraudulent basis. So this notice wants to highlight a couple of steps you need to do. Remember, at its core here, your identity has been stolen. This is no different than if somebody steals your identity and opens a credit card in your name and is now charging purchases to that card, right? So the first thing is always report this identity theft to your local authorities, right? Obviously, monitor your credit report. Pull the credit reports from the major three bureaus. That's a big one. And then you can file a complaint with the IC3 here. You can also reach out to the FBI. And then there's also links here on how to navigate this with respect to the IRS. Now, the IRS is something I handle more on my side because I'm a tax attorney. Identity theft, civil lawsuits, that's left for other types of attorneys practicing in different fields. But the reason the IRS one is so problematic is because what's happening here is effectively income is being reported under your name and tax ID number that you didn't earn, nor do you want to pay tax on, right? Imagine you get a 1099 for miscellaneous income that shows $500,000, and the IRS thinks that's your money. They think you need to report that on your return. They think you need to pay tax on that income. And you don't, right? It's not your income. You haven't done anything, but yet, nonetheless, the income has been reported on a 1099 under your name and your tax ID number. And so it creates this snowball effect where you don't report that on your return because it's not your income, but then the IRS issues you a CP 2000 matching notice. They want to know, hey, we have a 1099 with your name, income, and tax ID number. How come we don't see this income reported on your tax return? So that's why it's also very important to report this to the IRS and then act accordingly. Okay, so that covers it for this video. Again, I'm just trying to raise some awareness here. Always make sure that you check your account transcripts on the IRS website. Remember, the account transcripts, the wage and income account transcripts for that matter, that specifically, what that does is it shows all the 1099s that were reported to the IRS under your name and tax ID number. So you can review that account transcript and see, okay, I've got a W-2 from my employer, I've got a 1099 from Bank of America with some interest income, and then you might see a 1099K or a 1099 miscellaneous from a company that you have no affiliation with whatsoever. And that's when the light goes off in your head and you start to think, okay, well, maybe my identity has been stolen. Maybe somebody opened an account in my name and is earning income and they're using my personal information. All right, so again, just trying to raise awareness here. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions on these issues, obviously